Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Hey traders, John Howell here. The V bubble is popping right now. And as you know, for the last probably week, maybe longer, I've been saying that for me personally, I am bearish on the short term, guys. I don't expect this thing to get down to new lows, but on the short term, I'm expecting this V bubble that we're in right now, especially on that Nasdaq, to start to pop, and I've done videos like, the end is coming, meaning the end of this move, game over, I did not expect this, pullback coming, all that sort of stuff. I've done that for the last probably couple of weeks. And today we can see that we're actually getting a very nice sort of a downward movement here on the Dow Jones. So I'm going to be covering that today, plus the silver, gold. Some people have asked me about silver and gold, what I think about that, plus the mining stocks as well too. So before I start, guys, the $7 sale is now over, but I've actually left the trading course instead of it being $500 like it normally is. You can still get it today for $27, but as you know, the $7 sale I was only up for a few days. And then that went down. Now it's up to 27. Once that's done, then the price will go back to normal price. So if you want it, only $27, but you still get an amazing trading course to get you on the right through it. I've called it the breakthrough trading course to give you the breakthrough that you need. So go to johnsflashsale.com to get that. Now, let's actually go through here, guys. One thing I want to share with you is the one thing I'm looking at right now when looking at the this here right now is the first thing that I've been saying. And let me actually just bring up just on a short-term basis here, just by looking at the markets here, okay? You can see over the last sort of 6 months, we had this big drop down, rally up, bit of a sideways movement, bit of a rally up. And I've been talking about this island reversal that we've been having here for quite some time. And let me actually blow this chart up here for a minute so you can see what I'm saying here. I've been talking about this island reversal, how it's still in play, and that's why I am still on a bearish note that the market's likely to go down than anything else. Until this island reversal is not in play, then I'm no longer going to be bearish, right? Because I can't be, because the market's now said, hey, this is what the market's doing, right? So I've talked about, and I've mentioned it a few times now, that this island reversal, which simply means, an island reversal simply means this. An island reversal generally happens at tops and bottoms in the markets. In this case, a top. So the market rallies up, and it's more like an exhaustion. It gaps up, it doesn't do much, like it's sort of like, it creates like a bit of an island type thing, and then it gaps down, right? And then it goes down. It's why it's called an island, right? Because it's separate from the actual markets. And then as you can see, that's what the market's done right now. And now today, we're doing something like that, as you can see here right now. So you can see that that's what's going on right now when we're looking at the Dow Jones. We have like trend line going through there. A lot of people say, John, you've got the trend line wrong. It's probably going on through there. As you can see, maybe something going on through there. If you had that, you can see how this trend line here was definitely rejecting it. It's actually breaking through this level through here right now as well. That major level of support, as you can see, is breaking down, and this island reversal, guys, is still in play, and that's why it's still bearish. And that's why I still see this thing getting down to around that 23,000. Once again, guys, I don't see this thing getting back down to 18,000 this year. I think the market's going to be like, I think it's going to drop down like another 10 or so percent or 15%, then up 10%. I think we're going to pretty much just go sideways overall. Not like this here, but down 10%, up 15%. I think the market's likely to do that throughout this year until the election's over. And if Donald Trump wins, then who knows what's going to happen. I'm still bearish no matter what happens, but especially if Donald Trump loses, then you watch the markets go definitely haywire on the downside. It's going to get absolutely hammered. Taxes are going to get raised again. It's going to be really bad. Now, if Donald Trump wins, and I'm not sure how the market's going to handle, but overall, I'm still bearish. But if he loses, then I see the market's getting absolutely creamed. So you can see that on the Dow Jones. Let's go look at the SP500. And once again, if I take my screen, I'll take this off the screen through here. And let me actually just zoom inside the last sort of 3 months here so you can see what I'm saying through here. If I bring up my charts through here, you can see how this level through here is the gap. And notice how it actually didn't quite fill this gap here, right? So it's still got this island reversal type pattern where the market's rallied up, a gap up, didn't do much, a gap down, big gap down, and now it's rolling over, and now look what happened, right? Now we're starting to roll over now, and we're starting to head down. So once again, I see the SP500 probably heading down towards that sort of, probably again, I'm not calling for a major crash, but the V bubble is popping, and we're probably likely to get that pullback I've been looking for, and we're probably and it looks like it's starting today. And so that 2,800 level there, guys, is probably where it's likely to start to happen there. Also on the Nasdaq as well too. One thing you notice on the Nasdaq is that one, it stayed below this trend line. And interesting here, I've been talking about this for the last probably few weeks now, of exactly the Nasdaq is doing exactly what it did last time the bubble popped, or the market popped, right? What did it do? It stayed above this trend line. It's still and this is actually before the Rona, right? It dropped below. Look at it. It just kept below that trend line, didn't it? And then it started to drop, and guess what? Then we started to get some serious movement on the downside, and then we came down to new lows. Now, I don't expect that with the Nasdaq, but it's really interesting, right, that the Nasdaq is doing the exact same thing right now. Support all the way up. Now look what's happened. Resistance, and now we're starting to get a bit of a strong selling bar. So that to me, guys, tells me, with all that being said, and then on top of all that, if I bring it all the way back to the close-up view, and I bring up the high point, look at this here, guys. Look at this here. Look what happened here just recently. This is really telling, right? We actually, look what happened. We gapped up to all-time new highs compared to this high here. So this 10,000 was sort of this level through here was, or this bar through here was the all-time new highs. Then it gapped down. Then we had to move down. Then we had a little gap up yesterday, and now we're actually starting to roll over again. So to me, this whole thing, if I squeeze my chart up, this whole thing is a big V bubble, right? I've always called it a big V bubble. It was a V bottom, now it's a V bubble. V bubble simply means it's just too high, and we're expecting a nice pullback. So the V bubble is popping right now. And so if I go back to my charts right now, you can see that that's what we're seeing through there when it comes to, this right now on the Nasdaq. So we're seeing that there right now. If I go to, same with the SPY right now, SPY, look at this here, gap up, didn't do much. It still had that island reversal, and that's why I've still stayed bearish this whole time, because I'm like, until this here completely breaks past this here, this pattern is telling us that, hey, we are still bearish this mode and the market's not doing much, and we're starting to sell off through here. So I would say we're probably likely to start to see some more movement on the downside. Around that 280 level is where I have a target on the SPY, and I may or may not have options on the SPY right now. I'll leave that up to you. The Russell, but the same thing for the Russell 3000 as well too, right? Look at this here. Notice how this here was what? This here was the gap, right? Notice that there. Notice how we actually gapped up, little island reversal, gap down, and now we're starting to do what? Now we're starting to roll over, aren't we? The market's telling us it's rolling over. Before this, it was a bit of a question mark, because I didn't know whether the market was going to just suddenly do something like this and then forget the island reversal. It's a continuation move. But because it was still in play, I've always had that bearish tone, or that bearish, because I'm like, hang on. Firstly, the market's overextended right now, especially the Nasdaq. And then secondly, now we're starting to get this island reversal right now. And now, as you can see, right, we're starting to create this lower high formation through here, starting to get a very nice breakdown through here. So we should start to see a movement on the downside on the Russell. And then I would say, once again, if I bring up the last sort of 6 months worth of view here, I would say the market's likely to retrace around the 50% retracement. Again, not all-time new lows. Now we may, right? Something really bad may come out and flush this thing really hard. But I reckon around that 50% retracement level is probably a good area. Probably around that 160 level. So if I bring up my 3-month view again, very close up here. That 3-month view there, you can see how we're getting this through, and now we're starting to roll over. So guys, that's the reason why, like, I've been doing these videos for the last sort of, couple of weeks now, saying, guys, listen, this is not looking good. Really is not looking good. And sort of the same thing, but not the same thing on the on the speak up, John, on the transports, right? But what are we getting here on the transports now? Look at this here, right? We had this big move up, bit of a gap up, it came down. Let's actually do that. Let's actually try that again. So we had this move up, right? Then we came down. Look what's happening right now. Now we're creating what? A lower high. If we can get a break past this low here, this lower high breaking past previous lows, then same for this as well too. We definitely actually have a bit of a support and resistance line going on through there somewhere. I would say we have that level through there, and we have this major support level through here. Yeah. So if we can get past this trend line through here, then I would say probably the transports is probably going to head back down to this next level of support through here, because that's what the market loves to do anyway. You know, we have this. It actually looks like a potential head and shoulder there, doesn't it? Look, a bit of a left shoulder, a head, little right shoulder. So if we break this sort of 150, it's probably going to head back down towards that 140 level there. Again, on a short-term basis there, guys. So short-term pullback is likely to happen when it comes to the markets through here. Let's now go have a look, guys, at silver and gold right now. Let me just give you a quick little update what I'm seeing through there. Gold has continued to be in a very sort of upward channel right now. Not really much going on. We're not breaking up strongly. We're not breaking down strongly. So we're not really getting a lot out of gold right now. If I go to my weekly charts here, you can see how it's just slowly trending up here. So I'm not really getting any good indication about gold. People say, John, what's going on with gold? You know, it's like, you know, so you can see that that's what's going on right there, right now when it comes to the to the gold price. So yeah, not really much to say about that. Obviously it's continued to be bullish through there. If I move on through to my silver chart though, if I go back to my daily chart, right, my silver chart looks like it may be starting to, it looks like it may be, just maybe, starting to get a bit of weakness out of this here, right? So we did actually have that sort of trend line through there. We broke down, as you can see, it's sort of rejecting through. Now we're actually getting a bit of a down candle through here. So maybe, just maybe, we're getting ready for a bit of a short-term pullback in silver as well too. Now, guys, I am still massively bullish on silver long-term, but that doesn't mean we're not going to get our pullbacks, okay? That's what the market does. So on a short term, we may actually get that bit of a drop down through there. If I look at my weekly charts here, guys, I take everything off the screen. We've had a very big move up. So even if we do get a bit of a drop to the downside, probably even down to $16 or whatever, I still see this thing holding here and then having a very nice rally to the upside. Moving on through to the GDXJ. And if you guys have been watching me now for the last few months, you would know this. You would know that towards the start of May, I started saying, listen, guys, it's not the right time to be getting into the GDX or GDXJ. Wait for some sort of pullback or a resting phase or something like that, so the market can reset. And man, I got chewed up on YouTube, but you know what? I was right. I was right in a matter of look what happened here, right? It's done nothing. It's done absolutely nothing for the last month. And that's why I was saying that wait for a pullback, or wait for some sort of sideways movement for the market to reset first. Then you're going to have a probability in the markets, okay? If I look at this weekly chart here, you can see that that's what's done. So I'm actually expecting this sideways movement to continue a bit more before we actually break out. We haven't broken out yet, so I expect a lot more time here before it actually breaks out through there. If I go down to my GDXJ, and the GDXJ, again, the same thing as the GDX, guys. I've been saying the same thing, that this market's very overextended. Wait for some time to catch up. And what that simply means is that when the market does a lot of price like this, and it's had a very big move, then we need some time, right? We need a little bit of sideways movement for it to reset, and before it actually starts to make a move once again through there. Let's actually go through the SILJ. Again, same sort of scenario. SILJ and the SIL, the same scenario for like the GDX, GDXJ. We've had a very big move up. I believe like the SIL, we have started a big bull market, okay? But just in a big bull market does not mean we're not going to get the pullbacks, okay? Overall, look what happens in big bull markets, right? We go up, we go sideways. We go up, we go sideways. We have big pullbacks, okay? What you don't want is for it to do something like this where it just goes up, sideways, up, up. Why? Because now we're starting to create a bit of a now we're definitely creating a bubble, right? That's the reason why Nasdaq's in a bubble right now, because it's just basically done this. And look what happens. Bam, 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 retrace all the way down. And look what actually happened, right? It eventually retraced 100% of this big market, big move up. It eventually came down and retraced at least 80% on the downward move through there. And that's what bubbles do. Okay, massive bubbles do that all the time. And so the SILJ as well too, same sort of thing, guys. I believe this is a massive V bottom through here, but we're just collecting a bit of time now. We're going sideways, we're resting. The market's sort of, the market's like a living, breathing thing, right? It's like you're at the gym, right? You're going, and now you're exhausted. And now you need a bit of time just to relax, refuel, have a nap, maybe have some pizza, whatever, to go again, right? So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys, overall. Overall, guys, when I'm looking at all these markets, let me just bring up this overall, this all chart through here. You can see that we're starting to roll over on the indices right now. And so I'm expecting more downside to come out of that. Again, just a short-term move. I don't expect new highs to come in the indices, in the SP500 or the Dow Jones. I don't expect new highs or new lows this year. I just expect it to probably go down 10%, up 10%, and not really do much throughout this year because now things are uncertain with what's happening right now. But towards the end of this year, guys, we do know that no matter what happens with the election, it's going to get really bad. A lot more foreclosures with property. A lot of businesses are going to go out right now. Are going to go out of business. A lot of bankruptcies. So for people that one, you can see that happening, but secondly, if you're looking for a good time to maybe even buy a business, if you don't understand businesses itself, or you're looking to maybe get into some property, then I would say over the next 12 months, you're going to find some amazing deal. And all it comes down to, guys, is your education. And what I mean by that is that how educated are you on what to look for and how to know what to look for and that sort of stuff. That's the same with me, when it comes to my trading, I'm pretty on par on that, and I just be patient and watch the markets. But when it comes to my property, right, I've been really studying hard so I can understand how to get some good cash flow deals and so on and so forth. So there we go, guys. Right now, guys, I'm telling you right now that this is the start of a bit of a downward move, but overall, this is the top, I believe, a major topping pattern we're forming. Let me just bring this chart up through here. Say on the Dow Jones. Let's go to the Dow Jones. Let me blow this weekly chart up here. I believe, once again, guys, that this chart through here is just one major shoulder ahead. I believe, as I said before, we're probably likely to do this throughout the rest of this year to create that right shoulder, and then we're probably likely to start to do that. Who knows, guys? We could actually just go straight down through there right now. But once again, I don't really see a new high coming in the stock market for a good probably 3-4 years, maybe more, maybe even longer.